Testing. All right. You can cut out that other.
Hey, yo,
Yeah. Run it up, Blondo.
Hey, see y'all from Texas, where we should ride swangers and put diamonds in our neck.
What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing this evening? Ooh, my hair is all over the place. Good evening to everybody. It's your man, it's your boy, it's your guy, it's Doc Holiday. We are here again. We are back with another HBCU tonight. And as always, powered by HBCU Overdrive. Make sure that you like this stream. Make sure that you comment, share, most of all, subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure wherever you get your stuff at, make sure you get that notification to get everything HBCU Overdrive. All right. So it is Wednesday. It is hump day. It is. Hey, look, it's Wednesday. All I need is a picture of Wednesday Addams doing her shuffle, because that's what she does. But see if everybody filing in. Oh yeah, Miss, what's up, sis? Good evening. What's going on, man? What's going on? Let's get it. Yeah, we're gonna talk about Division II, NAIA. So I don't want nobody to get mad. This is just a way too early. It ain't official. This is just my takes. So, my takes on what's going on. KD? We are 4th day of June, and we got oh my goodness. We got less than 2 months left for football season. We got 2 months left for football season. We got 2 months left for band season to come up. We got volleyball season coming up in August. We got a lot of things coming up. Down the pipeline. I wouldn't know what the D2 transfer portal is, but I would say I would like to talk about that because my main guy, Teddy Keaton, coach for Clark Atlanta, he had some interesting things to say about Division I players moving down to Division II. In fact, I want to find that and actually get people's opinion on that. I think that was an interesting conversation that he had on HBCU Game Day. So let me find that clip. Because it was a very interesting conversation. That was a very interesting conversation. And a lot of people, some people might get upset, but I want to talk about that. And y'all already know that we live stream on both YouTube and Twitter. So if you're on the Twitter, if you're looking on the Twitter, you can also always comment in the chat on the Twitter. I will see it. But also, if you're there, hit the follow button on the Twitter, follow the profile, and then come on to the YouTube and hit the YouTube subscribe button. That's it. So give me a minute. I'm gonna see if I can find this clip. Because he has some very interesting things to say. Try to find it. Now I want to talk to. Let's get to it. I found the clip. I found the clip of it right here. So I want to go ahead and share that with y'all. Share the screen. And y'all see in the background the business is moving around. But he has some interesting things to say. And I kind of want to, like I said, I want to share that with folks. And shout out to my man Sly, the sports guy.
Transfer portal, because that's all the rage right now. I mean, the landscape of college football has completely changed because of the transfer portal. So when it comes to the transfer portal, how do you kind of deal with the transfer portal with kids getting in the transfer portal to kind of shop themselves around, look for a new idea? What's your approach if a kid goes into the transfer portal? Is he there? He's gone? Or does he have a chance to come back? Do you hold the spot for him?
It all depends on who that kid is and how much value he's created for himself as an individual. I mean, there's a lot of coaches that has that philosophy to say that their best player got in the portal and they'll say, well, I'm not going to let him come back. He got to go. He can go. But that's not the way of the world no more. So if he jumps in and I feel like he created enough value, he added enough value to my team, and I feel like he didn't find what he was looking for, and if I haven't moved on from that situation, then I'm willing to explore the opportunity about letting him come back. It's all about the conversation that happens before the conversation. A lot of coaches don't have exit interviews, meetings with their kids, understanding that you need to, talk. The chatter always, as they say, where there's smoke, there's fire. There's usually always some smoke or some hearsay if you listen to the other kids on your team and stay locked in with them. They be like, well, this guy thinking about doing such. And that conversation has been had in the residence hall or wherever else it may have been had, the cafeteria. But you also want to make sure that you be honest with yourself. Can you win with that kid? Can that kid help me keep my job? Or am I doing the kid a disadvantage by saying he's playing Division II football? There's an opportunity for me to be able to go up and play possibly Division I or another place. Or maybe I just didn't feel like I was utilized to my capabilities at this institution that I'm at. So I think us as coaches shouldn't take it so personal, because let's flip the tables. When it's time for me to get in the coaching pool for another job, did I think about everybody else that was that I'm leaving behind, or coaches or players. So I think you have to be honest with yourself that it should be a two-way street of allowing them. An institution can say, well, Coach Keaton, if you go and interview for this job, we're not going to take you back no more.
Well, that makes sense. And I'm just curious. I was curious because of the.
So Coach made some very good points on his show when it's involving the transfer portal. Basically what he was saying is that if a kid decides to jump into the transfer portal, but they don't see anything out there, they don't see, they might not say, what's the phrase? The grass might not be greener on the other side. In a sense, are you willing to bring that kid back to your program? Are you willing to go out there and say, hey, there's nothing out there. Nothing is biting out there. Is it possible that I can come back to the program and finish out what what I started? And so, what he's saying is coaches have to look at that. And especially when it's, when it comes to evaluating players. Now, I don't know if he said that coaches don't have exit meetings. I think some programs do have exit meetings. From my knowledge, don't shoot me, but I think Jackson State has an exit. I think TC does have exit meetings to kind of give kids their perspective and, if they're, willing to bring them back, to recruit them back to the roster or let them go and explore his options. Because at the end of the day, if you're a kid, if you're going to make your living, try to be a professional, then that is what you're going to deal with on a professional level. You see a lot of players that, that were our favorites. They get either drafted or they come in as an undrafted free agent, and basically they probably make the practice squad and they get cut, and then you don't hear nothing from them. And then you ask the question, he was good here, but why he didn't make it on the next level? So it's all about the kid. But he did say, to his point, and shout out for HBCU Game Day for, like I said, with the bringing this right here with the Teddy Keaton show, that when kids come down from a Division I program, mainly Power 5, Group of 5, Power 4 now, that what is their mindset when they come to FCS, or even when they go to Division II, or NAIA, Division III, whatever. What is their mindset? Most kids feel like they are Division I talent. Most kids have Division I talent, but what is your mindset for it? Is your mindset Division I, or your mindset could be Division II? Your mindset could be FCS. Your mindset could be Division III. NAIA. I would say, let's take for example, for Pine Bluff, Giovanni Gibson, who was at a Division II school in Arkansas, transferred up to FCS to Pine Bluff, had a spectacular season last year, and used what he did last season and parlayed it into a Division I scholarship offer to a FBS Power 4 scholarship offer to University of Oklahoma. Or in the case of, let's say, I'm gonna put this out there. Let's say Zion McDonald. Zion came from University of Louisiana Lafayette. Of course, he's from the state of Mississippi. He's from Jackson. He didn't really get too much of playing time at Louisiana. He transfers to Jackson State. Sits behind Jason Brown for 1 year and was back up to Jacobian. Well, Jason Brown and Jacobian last the first year he got there, and then he was back up to Jacobian last season. What he did during the SWAC championship game parlayed him to jump in the portal again. He was betting on himself. And he didn't get no Division I offer. He didn't get an FCS offer. So what happened? He goes to the same program that is ran by Coach Keaton at Clark Atlanta. He has a chance to actually compete for a starting spot for a quarterback. So what your mindset is as a player, you can have power for talent, but do you have a power for mindset? And some kids who are in the portal, they feel like they have a powerful mindset. They feel like they have, let's say that, let me repeat that. Let me rephrase that. They have a power for talent, but they don't have power for a mindset. So they will sit in that portal because the simple fact that some of them are too stubborn to even consider looking at an FCS program. It ain't even you don't have to go to North Dakota State, North South Dakota State. You come to HBCU. You could go to a UIW. You could go to SFA. You could go to Houston Christian, Lamar. Let's see, Cal Poly, UC Davis, whatever, Sacramento State. You know what I'm saying? Something. But even if they don't come get you, are you willing to grind it out on the lower levels? Are you willing to grind it out on the Division II level? And there are plenty of Division II schools that are well worth it. You see a Ferris State who won the last 2 Division II national championships. You see the Valdosta State, of course, that was coached by Tremaine Jackson made the championship game 2 years in a row. They were runner-ups. I mean, you see a Pittsburgh State, and then if you go down to the HBCU Division II schools, you see a Clark Atlanta that's stepping up. You see a Miles College that was doing their thing with Sam Shea. Now they got a new head, new coaching staff and everything. Can they continue that ride right there? You see teams like Fayetteville State, Bowie State, who had a remarkable run. Winston-Salem is on the way up. Johnson C. Smith was dormant for a long time. And look what they did the last 2 years. Look, and even on the NAIA level, what's going on in Langston? Look what happened at Florida Memorial. Hell, even look at West Virginia State. It's all about the opportunity. If you want the opportunity, you wouldn't, as a athlete, you wouldn't hinder yourself on being just thinking about Power 4 or even Group of 4, Group of 5, or just Division 1. Like, you wouldn't even hinder yourself on that. If they don't want you, why are you not trying to make that move to try to find somewhere where you can make a name for yourself, you can get a good quality education, at the end of the day, you're still getting an education. If you go to a good school, you could get seen by them, and basically get yourself out of that portal. I don't know how many kids are in the portal now. I don't know how many kids are still stuck in the portal, but I can guarantee you that there are a lot of kids that are still in the portal that are kicking themselves in the butt and wishing that somebody could come out there, come find them. But you got to have that. But you got to make sure you have that mindset. If you ain't got that mindset, man, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? But yeah, man. But what he said, it was powerful because I listened to it and it makes a lot of sense. In the same way, when Miss Liberty was on a show, she said that when it comes to it, players that play on our level, Division II, they get the second contracts, they get the third contracts. Because they know what they know what he's all, they know what he's all about. Had to get something from Sonic, man. But Just had to put that out there. Just trying to get everybody to think on that perspective. If they ain't looking for you, what you gonna do? What are you gonna do? So, it is what it is. But let's go ahead and let's go ahead and take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back after this. It's your boy Doc Holliday. Become a subscriber on HBCU Overdrive on YouTube, and you can follow me on all social media platforms at HBCU_Overdrive on Twitter and Instagram. You can catch me on TikTok at Holiday1925 and on Facebook under my real name, David E. Smith Douglas. Also, when you become an exclusive family member, you get all the membership perks. You get all the exclusive members only videos, early access to new videos, member shout-outs, and members only live chats. And also, you can get birthday shout-outs on here and win member when you become a subscriber. You can also hit the donation to the Cash App at HBCU Overdrive. You can hit the PayPal, David Smith 1925, and you can hit the Zelle, David E. Smith 30 at gmail.com. Remember, all proceeds go towards the channel, not the pocket. All right, we are back. All right, tomorrow night, the NBA Finals start tomorrow night. But we had some big news that came out of New York City yesterday, as in the New York Knicks fired Tom Thibodeau on his day off as the head coach of the New York Knicks. Took him to the playoffs 4 out of 5 years, had 250-win seasons, and this was the first time since the Patrick Ewing era that they went to the NBA. They went to the Eastern Conference Finals. What are you thinking, New York? What are you thinking? What is up with that? Some people say that it was his own fault because of how archaic his philosophy was, as far as basically only using like a 7-8 man rotation. And for those that do not understand basketball, that means that he only brought 3 folks off the bench to be in the starting 5. But there are some other rumblings out of New York that they're saying that Rick Brunson, which is that of Jalen Brunson's father, who's also an assistant coach on the team, some players were having issues with Rick Brunson. That's going to come into play because of the fact that his son is the starting point guard for the New York Knicks. And this is something that I would have to say. Whether you're an assistant coach or a head coach, I'm not going to say anything as far as as far as that your son can't play, but there's a conflict of interest when your son is on the same team as you coaching, i.e., like Doc and Austin Rivers when they were on the same team. And Austin is pretty much a goddamn he's a bum. I'm just put it just like that. He's a bum. But it was rumblings that Rick Brunson is overstepping his boundaries, especially with his son. Pretty much almost daddy ball, but hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. Now, My whole thing is, will they blow the team up? Will James Dolan go ahead and blow the team up? I'm gonna see what you got, B-Noy. What you got for me, man? Said listen to a podcast with a former baseball owner. Basically, this was a money move. James Dolan thought this was his best chance to get a finals and sell tickets in Madison Square Garden. Oh yeah. Oh, my bad, bro. You are a New York. You are a Knicks fan. It's oh my God. 25 years since you went to the Eastern Conference Finals. 30 years since you went to an NBA Finals. And 52 years since you won an NBA championship. Oh my God. Oh my God. Where is the knife at? Just plunge it into your heart. Something. Because that has to hurt. That has to hurt. But get back to it. The Oklahoma City Thunder, small market team, versus the Indiana Pacers, small market team. Gonna be live and direct from Oklahoma City game 1 and game 2. Then they move it over to Indianapolis for game 3 and game 4. And then they switch back and forth between game 5, 6, and 7. The Knicks are ongoing soap opera. Yes, they are. Well, you know what? They really haven't said too much of anything this year. To me, it's more of the Lakers. Everybody had beef with the Lakers. Everybody had smoke with for the Lakers when they drafted Bronny with the 55th pick, and he only played in games when his dad asked him to play in games and stuff like that. Little stuff like that. LeBron is the real GM for the Lakers. I'm just put y'all on game on that. It ain't Rob Pelinka, it's LeBron James. LeBron James is the real GM for the Lakers. And if he wanted to, he'll probably buy the Lakers if he wanted to. But we ain't gonna go into that. That is true. Mike Budenholzer won a chip with the Bucks. Starts off a little shaky. Doesn't even start off shaky. He goes back to the playoffs. Got close again to going to the finals. They fired him in the offseason, bring in Adrian Griffin. Adrian Griffin goes 30 and 13, and then he gets fired. And then they brought in Doc Rivers, and you see what happened after that. I would say this: I'm a Mavericks fan. Mark Cuban was notorious for firing folks who couldn't get past a certain team on the West Coast. Had Don Nelson. Don Nelson, he didn't get fired. He basically said, I'm out this bit. And went over to Golden State. Went back to Golden State. And see what happened. They beat us with the We Believe team. Had Avery Johnson as a coach. That we still couldn't get past him. Brought in Rick Carlisle. Rick Carlisle was on chopping block a couple of times until he gave us a chip. And then with Jason Kidd, but people will try to fire Jason Kidd, but I don't think we're gonna fire Jason Kidd. He's gonna be in Dallas for a while. Now we were trying to fire the goddamn GM because him trading Luka to the Lakers, but that seems like it more prophetic because of the fact that when Luka got to the Lakers, everybody was like the Lakers going to win the championship, and they poo-pooed in the first round. So, so, so who look like a genius now? Who look like a genius now? But I want to see the matchup between SGA and Tyrese Halliburton. Damn, Chuck, who your brother was on the coaching staff? Come on, man. But yeah, I want to see that matchup tomorrow. See how Halliburton plays against SGA. Melvin Hunt. Look that name up. I'm gonna look that name up. But I really want to see the bigs for Indiana go up against the bigs for OKC. Basically, that means Chet Holmgren and Hartenstein against Pascal Siakam and Evan Turner. Not Evan Turner. Miles Turner. There we go. Miles Turner. I ain't gonna look. I am not gonna get on your AD. I'm lying. I ain't even read the story yet. Dang, I ain't read the story yet, bro. But I'm gonna get on him once I read the story and see what happened. I'm gonna get on him. Yeah, they traded a big man. So they traded AD. Melvin Hunt. That name sounds so familiar. You say OKC in 5. I'm gonna go Pacers in 6. That's what I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go Pacers in 6. OKC will take the first home. They'll take the first game. They'll split the home games. The first 2 games at home. They'll split it. But I would say both teams have rowdy fans. So, you never know what you're gonna get with either team. But the Oklahoma City Thunder, like, this is their second time in the NBA Finals. Yes, second time in NBA Finals. This is the Pacers. Well, it's actually both teams' second time in the finals. So, so I'm gonna have to give. But that's what's starting up tomorrow night. And then after that, we got nothing but baseball, Major League Baseball, and College World Series. CFL starts I think it starts this month. Yeah, should be starting this month. So yeah, that's all we got for the summer until college football starts back up in August. So got to get some ideas. So I don't know if I take a good hiatus before season starts or when after come back from media day. And speaking of media day, we are going ahead and start up our drive. I drive the 205 again. to Birmingham, Alabama for Swag Football Media Day at the Sheraton Birmingham Hotel across from the Convention Center and Protective Stadium in downtown Birmingham, Alabama. That's on July 16th. If you're watching on ESPN Plus, the start time is at 10 a.m. But if you watch it with me, man, we're gonna start at 9 a.m. in the morning. 9 a.m. So we're gonna go ahead and get that thing started, and we'll probably end it the first week of July. After 4th of July, we're gonna do it just like that. We'll have everything set up. Nico trading Luka and not getting fired means the owner wanted Luka gone. That might be a possibility. But let's go ahead, get a good commercial break. We'll be right back in just a minute.
Yo, it's your boy Doc Holliday with HBCU Overdrive, and I am proud to sponsor Merch Sports. Check out his new line of collection, the Black College Football Fan Club collection. It's basically designed to show support and give respect to the rich history and tradition of black college football. And as you already know, the best college players had to play at HBCUs before integration. So go ahead and check it out over at shopmerchsports.com. Merch Sports. Merch for the sports enthusiasts.
All right, we are back. And so as always, we are going to be starting our football talk, our Division II football talk on Wednesdays this coming fall in August. We'll be starting that show up in August. Give a little bit more detail on that, and that will be started in August. We'll have that show coming on Wednesdays. Then HBCU Saturday night will be back this August also. So if you want to come in for all the shenanigans, if I'm not at a game and you want me to stream a game on a Saturday afternoon, might as well go ahead and get that done. So get it up here. Get all your comments, all your noise talking, get your jabs, get your verbal sparring partners over there, and come on in and have a good time in the chat. With all respect, because I will not tolerate disrespect. The missus will not tolerate disrespect, because she will send your ass to the upper room. But we will be back in August for HBCU Saturday night. Hope everybody come and join us. This will be season number 3 for HBCU Saturday night. And hopefully everybody come and join us for Saturdays, talk HBCU football, and just be amongst all the people. So that's what's coming up. Again, Valley game between FAMU. The game between FAMU and Valley will be played in Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. That will be October the 4th. Don't know what the time of the game is. But again, this was supposed to be a home game for Valley. But they decided to move the game to Atlanta to face FAMU. Last time Valley faced FAMU, Valley went down to Bragg Memorial Stadium and defeated the Rattlers 24-21 and breaking their 23-game home win streak. In fact, that was Valley's only win last season. And it was a big one. Also in some other news, The Las Vegas HBCU football classic between Grambling and Jackson State will be shown on HBCU Go. That is on October the 25th. That will be live from Allegiant Stadium, the home of the Raiders, and my wife's favorite team. So, so we'll get to see Charlie Neal in the flesh at Allegiant Field, at Allegiant Stadium. You know, the master of ceremony will be at Allegiant Stadium for that contest right there. Everybody should have their tickets. Everybody should have their rooms, get their flights, get your suits and whatever you want to get together. But yeah, that's what's gonna happen. I don't know. I think it might be. I think it might be the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta Falcons. If Valley moved their home game from Itabena to Atlanta and decided to bring in FAMU, I think the Atlanta Falcons might have a play in this. I'm just saying. It's not confirmed, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So maybe this might be a classic. The last classic that was in Atlanta was the Atlanta Football Classic. That was in 2014, and then of course, ESPN took over the classic and renamed it the Celebration Bowl. So, but if they are following the move, what Vegas is doing, I think this can be a game changer. Because you never know. You never know. Jerry Jones might get on the phone like, hey, I need the 2 best HBCUs to come to Jerry World and play a football game in there. Like this be the Cowboys HBCU class. Something. Like something. But I think it's a good move. Because I mean, of course, they should be getting paid for this right here. So for making that move. But I mean, it could be that. I mean, Arthur Blank could be for the people. He's for the people. I don't know if he's still invited to the barbecue, to the cookout. You know, no way he did with Michael Vick, but you know what I'm saying? That was close to 20 years ago, right there. The water under the bridge. But man, let's go ahead. Look, enough about that. They moved the game. HBCU is broadcasting the Vegas Football Classic game between Grambling and Jackson State. Great idea. People say that ESPN should take it. Nah. We want to be up in that jump right there. We want to be up in Allegiant Stadium and show them how we can do it, black collar style. So I like the move right there. But let's go ahead and get down to it. Let's get it cracking. This is my way too early. It's my way too early. Division 2. Preseason top 10. Now, this can be subject to change because why? This is before the season even starts, before they even finalize stuff. This is just my opinion. Okay. Hey man, look, this is what I tell you. Like, I'm gonna tell you like this: if you're getting some food from Cowboy Stadium, get it from from the tailgaters outside. Not saying that the food inside the stadium is bad. I'm just saying I like to get stuff from the outside because I'm not paying that exorbitant price for food inside of Jerry World. Hell no. What? Come on. I wouldn't mind, but don't come back. But then again, you're an Eagles fan. I'm not gonna say nothing. Anyway, this is my 2 early preseason top 10 for Division 2 and NA and the other independents on the lower level. So coming in and my honorable mentions is West Virginia State. West Virginia State. They had some games last year where they were dominant. They had some games last season where they could not keep a lead. And then they had some games last year where they kind of flat out looked horrible. But I do give West Virginia State some credit. I do give them some credit for what they did last season. I think, and I want to see what they can do this coming up season. Make sure people y'all look out for this team right here. Look out for this team in 2025. My next honorable mention is the Florida Memorial Lions out there in Miami, Florida. Team had one hell of a ride last year coming out of the Sun Conference. But with the departure of Bobby Rome as the head football coach, who's now at Chicago State. Want to see what they can do with a new football coach. Went 6-3-1. The one was against Clark Atlanta. Of course, we all knew what happened with that. But finished the game 6-3-1. Finished the season 6-3-1. One of the games where they played was postponed with Southeastern University. Finished the season in the conference at 4-1-1, looking to see what they can do coming up in 2025 again, but they're not going to do it with Coach Rome, who, like I said, is at Chicago State, who's putting together that team. And finally, my last honorable mention is Langston University. This team right here, I wouldn't even call overachievers. They were 6-4 last season, 5-3 in their conference. took some beatings in the first two games between Louisiana Christian and Central Oklahoma, but defeating Texas College and Nelson University, Oklahoma Panhandle State, Arkansas Baptist, defeating them, took a close loss to Ottawa, Arizona, and had a blowout loss against Texas Wesleyan. I feel that they can actually get a lot of things going, but they are going to be coming in with a coming in with not even coming in, but they're bringing. I think they're returning their starting quarterback, who is also their lead rusher. They have some players, and I like what Quentin Morgan is doing in Oklahoma at the school on the NAIA level. So to me, I think he will be the next in line. He will be the next in line for a head coach on the Division I level. Don't know where, don't know with who, but his name is going to be on the radar next season. So let's get into it. Coming in at number 10. I was kind of torn between this, but coming in number 10 is Albany State. They are coming off a 6-4 record overall with a 6-2 record in conference play. To me, and I feel like this is what Mr. Ford was saying, that Albany State with Quinn Gray as your head coach, this should be the time where now you can take over the conference, because of the simple fact that Miles College did lose their head football coach to Alabama A&M, and you also, like I said, having Fort Valley bringing in with a new head coach with Sean Gibbs leaving to go to North Carolina A&T. So I think Albany State can actually make a huge jump in the conference with what they got coming back, and basically the man at the helm. So they was my number 10 pick. Now I was on torn. I was in between having them or Tuskegee as a number 10 pick, but I chose Albany State because I see what they are bringing back. I'm still iffy about Tuskegee because they showed glimpses last season, but they also lost games, some close games last season, and I just feel like this wasn't the best coaching year for Coach Jackson at Tuskegee. But to get back to Albany State, like I said, I like what I see coming out of South Georgia, and this is the time for Quinn Gray to take a step forward. So I got him at number 10. Coming in at number 9 is Miles College. Of course, Miles College won the SIAC last season. Did go to the playoffs last season. was undefeated in the conference. They had a couple of blemishes on their schedule and the playoff against that same Valdosta State team that was coached by Tremaine Jackson. Where they lost their games 33-17. Let's see. They did win a playoff game last year against Carson Newman. They actually hosted the game, a playoff game last season, where they won against Carson Newman 14-13. That was a very close one. Their biggest win last season was against, to me, it was against Clark Atlanta. In the championship game where they won that 53-25. They did. So they're the only team that beat Clark twice last year. Wins against Benedict, Albany State, Central State was a very close one. Beat up on Allen, defeated Lane, which was a close game right there in Birmingham, and and of course losing against Alabama State only by 3 touchdowns, but they kept the game competitive throughout the whole time. Losing on the road to start the season off against West Alabama by 1. Just when looking at the game, just knew it's like, okay, Miles has a team. Sam Shea was at the head. They had a team. He built the program from the ground up. Now that he's in Huntsville, what are the Golden Bears going to do now? I don't see them winning the conference with a new head coach, but we don't know what this team is capable of. But it's going to be a little bit different now because Shea is in Huntsville. All right, but this is the SIAC champs. Basically, I got them at the number 9 position. Who knows what will happen once everything gets finalized? Because remember, this is way too early. Coming in at number 8, I have the Livingston Blue Bears. The Livingstone Blue Bears. Finishing the season on 6-4, 4-3 in conference. Their biggest win last season was against Johnson C. Smith. That contest was a 15-10 defensive battle where Livingstone basically held Johnson C. Smith to season lows in pretty much a lot of offensive categories: passing, rushing. The only hiccup to me, I feel like that they could have did a little bit better was against Shaw University. They lost their game by a touchdown. Losing against Bowie State, because to me, Bowie State is still they're still in a rebuild mode. I feel like they should not have lost their game right there, and losing against University of Charleston, which I don't know too much about that school right there, but losing that was the first game of the season, 38-7. But defeat, the one thing that surprised me was them beating Fayetteville State, and beating Johnson C. Smith in the same season. That was, to me, that was astonishing right there. But I have the Livingstone Blue Bears, who who's coached by another NFL. I would call him a great, but another former NFL player in Sean Gilbert. I think the sky is up for them. I think they can make that move to get into the upper echelon of the CIAA. So we shall see what happens with that. But I have Livingstone coming in at number 8. Coming in at number 7 right now is the Shaw Bears coming in at number 7. Shaw finished the season off 6-4, 4-3. Again, their biggest win was a win against Livingstone. They did go down to Albany State, defeated Albany State 43-40 in a shootout. Also defeating Fayetteville State in the last season 38-35 in an offensive battle, but losing against John C. Smith and Winston-Salem kind of put a little bit of damper into their season. But they were in the hunt last season to win the CIAA championship, but those hiccups between John C. Smith and Winston-Salem, also a big blowout loss against Virginia Union, kind of derailed that whole parade right there. But we should see what happens with with Shaw University this coming up football season. I think they can move up to the top in the CIAA. And they're coming in at number 7. Number 6 on my list is the Fort Valley State Wildcats coming in at number 6. Let me get to that right here. Fort Valley finished the season out 6-4, 6-2 in the conference. Look at their schedule from last season. Losing the first game of the season to Clark Atlanta told the whole tale of what their season was going to be about in Sean Gibbs' tenure. Now, again, like I said, Sean Gibbs is at North Carolina A&T, taking over for his alma mater. But losing the first game to Clark Atlanta, going on the road to Delta State, to Cleveland, Mississippi, but losing that game by 3, which was a very good game, where they had plenty of chances in the third and fourth quarter to take over the game, but they did not get it done, losing by 3, 27-24. Losing to South Carolina State, of course, that's FCS right there. And last game of the season against Albany State, the Fountain City Classic, losing to them 20-15. But the only big win that you see, the only win that meant something on the schedule was with Edward Waters. That was the only significant win on the schedule last year. And Edward Waters finished the season 3-7 last year. So that should tell you something. They had a pretty easy schedule last year. Don't know what the schedule looks like for this year, but I'm gonna check on that, do some more research on that. But now this is the end of the Sean Gibbs era, and new head coach comes in. Don't know what's gonna happen, but they do have one of the more dynamic playmakers at quarterback with Kevin Durham Jr. See what he does this coming up season. As long as he did not enter the transfer portal, but Hopefully he didn't, but we should see what he did this coming up season. Coming in number 5 is the Winston-Salem State Rams. The Rams coming in with one of the better records. 6. Connor Amena was the head coach. They came in this past season, 7-3 record. This was a tale of what happened. Defeating Bluefield State beginning of the season. Bluefield is on, I want to say a downfall, but they are rebuilding. They are trying to rebuild that program back up. But losing by a touchdown to North Carolina A&T on the road would tell you how the season will play out. Defeating Ohio Dominican University 19-13. One of the only other schools to defeat a Virginia school in the CIAA, where they defeated Virginia State 15-14. Beating Shaw. They beat Shaw. They won against Livingstone. Lost against Johnson C. Smith. Defeated Fayetteville State. But losing to Virginia Union. Those were the only 3 losses that they had. They were in contention for winning the CIAA. To me, like I said, they would not have lost to Johnson C. Smith. I think they would have been in contention as far as winning the conference. The Virginia Union loss kind of it hurt them a bit because they have a lot of momentum going into that game last year. Now, they had one of their better seasons, finishing with a 5-2 conference record, but they were 7-3 overall. They were, like I said, they were 1 or 2 games away from actually going to the playoffs to represent the conference in the playoffs, along with one of the Virginia schools. But with Winston-Salem, I'm looking at them to actually elevate their program to newer heights. But I got them at number 5. Coming in at number 4 is Virginia Union University. The Panthers coming in, won the whole conference last year with a 6-1 conference record, 7-3 overall. Their only loss was Virginia State. There's an only loss. Now, here's the thing. They did lose to Johnson C. Smith early in the season, but that game did not count as a conference game. No, it did not count as a conference game. It was just a regular season game. It did not count as a conference game. I don't know how that happened right there. But losing John C. Smith in the first, and it didn't count, that's diabolical. Shout out Elizabeth City. Destroyed Lincoln University 63-12. Destroyed Bowie 56-28. The game against Bluefield State, they should have called the ambulance, fire trucks, all the EMTs, every paramedic in in the house, because dogging them 91-0 was diabolical, nasty work. That was straight up nasty work, but then you come in and you lose to Virginia State the following week, 35-28, that's even more diabolical. But I do have Virginia Union at the number 4 spot. Now, I'm going to tell you this. They will miss Jada Byers. He is pretty much the leading rusher for the school. Lead school in rushing yards, attempts, touchdowns. We'll see what comes out of that with Dr. Alvin Parker at the helm. But we shall see. Like I said, we shall see what comes up. Well, if they can repeat as CIAA champs or not. Coming in at number 3, I got the Clark Atlanta University Panthers. Or shall I say Blark Atlanta? Now, last season they were the talk of college football for a whole different reason. Of course, with the fire red field, which I call it the Pyru field, which I dubbed them the nickname, the Pyru Panthers. Clark Atlanta finishing the season at 7-3-1, making a trip to they did not make a trip to the playoff, but they did make a trip to the SIAC championship game where they did lose to Miles College 53-25. Again, now we all know. Let's just say this: first game of the season, beating Fort Valley at Fort Valley 45-42. The game was a shootout. David Wright, I think he did have 7 touchdowns in that game right there. Then beating Allen in Atlanta at home. Coach Keaton's former team beating them 26-22. Going down to Miami Gardens to play Florida Memorial, but coming out with a tie 28 apiece. We all know because of the weather and travel restrictions right there. But the biggest game that we could talk about that everybody was shocked at was the Bethune-Cookman game. Now being down 34-7 in this game, down 34-7, and making a triumphant comeback to steal the game with a 55-yard field goal in the wind. What says a lot for this program. We are in year 2 of the Keaton experience. And what will he have for us coming in year 2 at the AUC? We shall see. So we'll go ahead and start getting into the actual football schedules later on. But we shall see what happens with this school, with this team right here, if they can elevate themselves even more, or will they stay stagnant and go back to mediocrity again. But we shall see with this team right here. But I got Clark Atlanta coming in at number 3. Coming in at number 2, hold on, I think that's number 4. Oh, that's number 2. Coming in at number 2 is Virginia State. the Trojans of Virginia State finished the season 7-4, 6-1 in conference, losing in the CIAA championship to Virginia Union 17-13. But the week before, they beat Virginia Union 35-28 to even make it to the conference game. Hey, that mascot is dope, though, for real. That mascot is dope. I've never seen a black Trojan before, but it's the first time right there. Big wins against Lincoln University 55-0, 45-6 against Bluefield, 36-7 against Elizabeth City State. Starting out the season defeating Benedict College 23-7, losing to Norfolk State by 5 in the Battle of the Bay 28-23, losing to Winston-Salem by 1 at home. That was a surprise right there. And again, losing to Johnson Smith 21-17. That was the only loss. I think that was our only conference loss of the season. I think that Winston-Salem State game did not count as a conference game right there. So my man Lawrence gonna have to explain to me what happened last season and see the reason why that did not count against conference. But overall 7-4. Coach Frazier, Dr. Henry Frazier III. Let's get that right. Is bringing back a juggernaut. See what happens this coming up season. But I got them in number 2. Number one, I have Johnson C. Smith Golden Bulls at the number 1 spot. 8-2 overall, 5-2 conference record. Started the season off in the Red Tails Classic against Tuskegee, winning that game 21-13. Defeating Morehouse 37-13. And if you would go down the line, they start the season off 8-0. They started the season off 8-0, but when you look at it going down in the season, looked like it started to wear off. So you can see where after the Lincoln game, they defeated Virginia Union 21-16, defeated Bluefield State 42-3 against the Virginia State. They won the game 21-17. One against Shaw 21-14, and then one against Winston-Salem 24-15. It kind of started wearing down for them. But when they go into the Fayetteville State game, they lost their game 27-0, and then losing the last game of the season against Livingstone 15-10 was a telltale that you started off fast, but you ran out of gas in those last 2 games. Now, this is Coach Flowers. That to me, I feel like that was Coach Flowers' best season as a head coach. Going to see what comes into play with this coming up season in 2025, but I have them pretty much. I have them pretty much as my conference winner, and if they can keep it up, the number 1 overall team in Division 2, and see what they can do and keep making the noise. But other than that, that is my top 10. Way too early top 10 preseason. It's preseason, y'all. Real season ain't come up. So don't get your panties in a bunch. All right. Don't be coming on up onto my Twitter talking about, man, you didn't put my team number one. Well. Don't know that. But yeah, I this is what I say, and I appreciate you. I'm about to read this comment right here. I think this is good. So the keys to the side, in my opinion, in your opinion, okay, will Clark improve their defense? That is a big must, because their defense was porous. Their defense was porous. Can Tuskegee and Albany State maintain? I think Albany State can actually maintain. I think I think Quinn Gray has to make that jump. He has to have his team make that jump. Tuskegee, I think, is one more year away, but we shall see. The sleeper is Savannah State. Yes, they're my other honorable mention. Savannah State had a good season last year. They beat Tuskegee, Clark, Albany State, and Edward Waters last year. Yes. Savannah State had a very good team. I think their offense was a little bit one-sided, but their defense was A1. Yeah, I got the Bulls on. Bulls on parade. So yeah. But that is my Division II way too early top 10. What's going on, Lawrence? So you said conference championship game win against an automatic qualifier to the playoffs. Yes, because they did expand the playoffs for Division II. Expect Tuskegee. This is used to make the top 2. Now, I did say that with Tuskegee, for me, if they can get past what I want to call it turmoil down there where they at in the Plains, but they have a lot to expect because they're getting lights coming. They're getting lights in the stadium. You're making moves. There's some talks about you want to go to Division 1, but my expectation is just try to get past. Just try to win 6 games. If you win 6 games, I'm good. But if you win 7 and try to win the conference, that's even better. Then the head coach won't be on the hot seat. Because I think he's on the hot seat. But again, way too early preseason top 10. That's just me. Don't sue me. Don't beat me up. Somehow, maybe my guy from Stephen Gaither from HBCU Game Day would put me in this little article, and hey, you never know. You never know. It has happened before. I did it with Bruce Eugene almost 2 years ago. You never know if that story could break out. But I hope everybody had a good evening. I am about to jump out this thing right here. Again, we are doing our fundraiser for Swag Media Day, which will be held at the Sheraton Birmingham Hotel in downtown Birmingham, Alabama. Of course, if you're in Alabama, if you're in Birmingham, you know that's across from the Convention Center and Protected Stadium. If you're watching on ESPN Plus, they will go live at a.m. If you're watching with me, you know you get me early at 9 a.m. Are you watching? You watching softball? Don't do it. Take horns down. But if you want to, if you can, if you need to, you can always go to the PayPal. You could go Cash App. You go through Zelle. We get all those payments right there. It's going on between now and I would say July 1st. July 1st. That would be it. July 1st is the cutoff date. That gives enough time right there. But also, if you don't know, the missus does t-shirts, and of course we're gonna have channel. We'll have t-shirts. We'll have t-shirts on site. If you come to media day, we'll have t-shirts on site. T-shirt will be $25. Long sleeve shirts will be $30, and hoodies will be $40. Am I correct? She shook her head, yes. So we'll have that set up at the table if you want to go ahead and make a purchase. Last but not least, I want to give us a prayer. Send it out to a good friend of ours on the show, Uncle Sid, aka Cedric Walker. Got word that he had a minor heart attack, which made me think. Got to take care of ourselves. But I did talk to him early today. He is recovering. He had surgery, I think, the other day on it in Houston. But make sure, man, look, give my guy prayers so he can have a full and speedy recovery. And I hope you listening to this and see this right here. Because the missus said when you get out the hospital, she on your ass. Literally. Yeah, man. We got to make sure we take care of ourselves. We got to make sure, as far as men, we got to make sure we take care of ourselves and make sure that we're going to be there for the long haul. Because my kids going to be burying me. You know, so what I say, put me in a pine box. Mm-hmm. Yep, put me in a pine box. But man, just make sure you take care. Make sure we get ourselves checked out, take care of ourselves. I will be hopefully later on down the line. Well, before my birthday, we got to get a colon screening. Got some other things going on, but the best thing is making sure we take care of our health. Also, this is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month too. I forgot about that. So, men, make sure we take care of our physical, and also make sure we take care of our mental. If either one is going, we are lost. So we make sure that we take care of both of that. And last but not least, gotta give a shout out to my baby girl Peyton. She has a fashion show coming up this Sunday here in Dallas, and your boy is gonna be checking it out and taking pictures of my baby girl and stuff like that, because she is going to be that model. I mean, that's what she want to do. That's what she want to do. But I'm very proud of her. Going to the 5th grade, doing a lot of things, and seeing a lot of places. So, hey, I can't be nothing but happy for my child, for my baby girl. I can't be nothing but happy for all my kids. For all my kids. Yeah. But other than that, you got anything to say before we roll up out of here?
Ain't nobody checking for me.
Oh, Lord. Come on, Gladys.
Everybody checking for me except for Natasha and Quay.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody probably been logged on by now.
Nah. She done gave me a dang on nickname called me Buford.
Why you? Yeah. You're a plumber.
Whatever.
You know whatever. Don't say no whatever. Hi.
What you got for us?
I don't have anything right now. I will be starting up some more shirts in a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta get my baby some shirts ready for his media day. And yes, please send prayers to Uncle Sad. We both spoke to him today, so he's in good spirits.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Oh yeah. But other than that, man, y'all be safe. Y'all be blessed. Hug your loved ones and love on your loved ones. What's the other thing we say? Fuck Donald Trump. Elon's a Nazi. Crash out on your kids. Beat your kids at the penitentiary. And for all the haters who got something to say about this show or just me or anything, guess what?
Got me fucked up. Got me fucked up.
Just had to say it like that. But other than that, man, we up out this thing. And as always, be easy, baby.
Easy.
We out this thing. Peace.